we're about to finish this games cast, and I will go play the new Starfield update with Mike. You know how much I love Starfield as a base level game. I am, in a way, kind of bummed out that this update's dropping right now, because I have found myself obsessed with Fallout 76. I think like so many people, of course, came out of the show, wanted some Fallout, and I downloaded New Vegas to my Steam Deck because I've never actually finished it. Then, of course, the Fallout 4 patch dropped. I jumped back into that, started playing with that, and then it was that I liked 4 fine. That was always my thing with 4. It was fine. And so starting it up, I didn't like the character I made. I get back out and I'm like, I don't, you know. And so it was, I want to play on PlayStation, something more modern. I was like, I've heard 76 has come a long way, right? Like if 76, you know, my history goes that I had done the beta back in the day with it that then launched into the real progress. I forget how many hours I played, you know, double digits, but we'll just say 10, maybe less. Then went away like everybody else. When they dropped the NPC update, me and Bless came back for one weekend. We had fun with it, but it wasn't enough to keep us in there, and we went off on our own again. And then coming back to this time around and jumping back in, I've been shocked that 76 is finally a Fallout game. And I don't mean that to sound insulting. We've already beaten 76 in the street enough that everybody knows its problems. But for me to start it back up, and I've been going, I think, for 2 weeks now, a week and a half with it, where I started it back up, jumped into the Greg Miller character I had made, who I think was level 15, maybe 12, I'd put some time into. And it was dropping back in and being like, all right, well, what's going on? And like wandering around, meeting characters. Oh, wait, this is a cool quest. Oh, wait, this is a cool quest. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And then these past couple nights with it have been the, fuck, this is Fallout. Where it is, I started up with the intention of, I'm going to do the main quest. I'm going to go after this vault full of gold. I'm going to do this thing. And then what happens? It's the fucking quote from the show. Sidetracked by bullshit. I see something cool. Oh, that's cool. Oh, this robot wants me to join the tadpoles to become a possum, like this like Boy Scouts thing. I'm like, that sounds like a lot of fun. Sure. Oh, okay. I've made the power armor and I have all this stuff, but I just need screws and what is it? The black titanium to find, and it'll increase my carrying capacity. So I'm running around killing mole, and it's like, fuck. And there's NPCs, there's interesting conversations, there's all this stuff. I'm currently level 35. My PlayStation clock says 55 hours in. Of course, that does include what I've played before or whatever, but I would still say that's at 40 plus hours I've put in the past week and a half, 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah. So a couple things on that.
Please.
I'm level 40-ish, whatever I am right now. I've been playing, and I've been playing specifically on Xbox, which kind of brings me to everything that you said. I think is very, very spot on. Like, ironically enough, I didn't play 76 when it first came out. So me jumping in now is like, I can't even imagine what this game was like without NPCs or any of this stuff, like all the improvements they made over the years. But my sticking point with it is the fact that you're on PS5, I'm on Xbox. We can't play together.
I know.
And I know Pete Hines said stuff in the past, and I haven't heard anything recently.
Oh, you should have watched my interview with Todd Howard, where he brought it up himself. Of just like,
wait, what did he say? Because
he was like, basically, it's not happening. He basically, that's a technical hurdle that we just didn't build this game for. That it's like pretty much. Right. I'm paraphrasing. Never say never, but it is. I'm with you. Of like, Mike saw me playing it in the office, and he's like, "Oh, let's jump in together, Slappy." And of course, he played on Xbox, and so it was just like, "Oh, well, no." But it's also a weird one of like, I play this game and I'm just not drawn to play with other people. I still play this and I'm like, why did this have to be multiplayer? Like, I get it. And I know that I've done a couple events which were fine, but I haven't gotten to something where I'm like, I should be running with it. Yeah, it'd be fun. I join the groups when I get in there so that I get the shared XP and everything.
Totally.
But I'm like, I'm not running those missions with people. Fallout still is it, even though we're all, Vault 76 people who are out there trying to repopulate West Virginia. I'm still not like, I need to play with other people.
Yeah, I'm 50-50 on that. I agree with you. Like, I never purposely like, hey, let me get a group together tonight and we're all going to jump into 76. I go in by myself and I'll just randomly meet people while I'm in there. Like, I had one side mission I was doing and it was early on when I had first got power armor and I ran across this thing, like everybody had power armor and we're taking down all these things. I was like, yeah, this is effing dope, right? You know, we're doing.
This is the E3 demonstration that one time.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I already told the story on XCast, but I had somebody that had jumped in and all of a sudden I'm hearing over the mic, help, help, help. And I'm like, where's this noise coming from? And it was someone that genuinely had no idea how to play the game. And he tagged along with me for like a good hour or so.
That's
and
awesome.
I'm like, look, I don't know what the hell I'm doing either, but here's what I'm doing. I'm trying to do kind of thing. And almost every time that I jump in, someone is giving me something. Like people are very generous in that 76 community, which
sure.
I think is awesome that is there. But man, I just wish everybody could play together because from what I understand, the PC community, PC community, but the PC community, like that's probably the biggest population of people that are still playing right now. And they've done some just crazy stuff with the camps and all these things over the years. But even just playing on Xbox, I've seen some very impressive things. And I guess, Phil Spencer got nuked on last week or something, right? And now he's doing the mission so he can retaliate. So it's like little fun stuff like that I'm glad there is a co-op aspect in the game.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff happening in there, and I've been shocked isn't the right word, but I'm surprised I like it as much as I like it, because it is that thing where I did a Greg Way last week about it, where it was like last night I had a thing and it was very much the seams were showing of like, okay, it's, you know, fetch quest, rinse and repeat, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But then it was like the next day I had, and I was tired and maybe cranky that night. The next day I had a character I liked a lot. You know, I have an ally in my camp who's an astronaut who was in cryogenic freeze. It's like, this is fucking awesome. Like, I love you. What do you want me to go do? And, you know, you run into a robot, you run into a person that has an actual cool quest line, an actual cool thing going on. I still, you know, it's funny. When I get obsessed with a game, I go and then look for content and podcasts, and it's how I found like the Diablo podcast, which I encourage you to listen to from purediablo.com. But it's the idea that like I was like, oh, it's weird to be back in this game, and then kind of what did I think of it? And I went and listened to the Games Cast where it's me, Jared Petty, and Tim talking about my first hours with the beta, and there I'm talking about like I'm very early, but there's not a lot of people, but like, you know, the overseer logs are so well acted and the voice acting is really, and I'm like, damn, that still resonates now. Like, I'm stoked when I go off and I find an overseer log and I get to hear her going through what she's going through or doing whatever, or anybody's log for that matter. And like piecing it together, why this robot is named after this guy's love, what happened to their love and their relationship. And I'm like playing it so many times, being like, damn, this is Bethesda. Like this. Yeah. And when it launched, that was the big problem. This doesn't feel like Fallout. This doesn't feel like a Bethesda game. And here we are so many years later, and it's like, damn, this feels like a never-ending Fallout game. Like, and even when I start doing quests, I'm like, oh, this is a cool quest. And it's like, completed the daily. I'm like, damn, this is just a daily quest. Like, this isn't even a main mission, a side mission, or whatever. This is something that was just rad to do.
Yeah, I'm happy that this game exists. I mean, like I said, it obviously took them a lot of years to get it to this point, but I do feel the game right now is in a really good place. Like, because it was funny over the past few years at various Xbox showcases or whatever, they would always talk about the next thing that was coming to 76. Yeah. And I'm like, why are they? Did anyone even play this? Like, why are they, you know, talking about this? Now I get it. But that leads me to a question I've always wanted to ask you directly.
Oh, and I want to answer that question, but I also want people to write it with their super chats if they have opinions on Fallout 76, tips for new players, why people should get involved, why they shouldn't. Super chat on YouTube. Paris, back to you.
Yes. So the question I have for you is, so obviously the show came out phenomenal. It was what, 80, they've said 80 million people have watched the show.
Something like that.
It's clearly reignited interest in the game. Do you think it was a mistake to not have a new Fallout something ready to go along with this show?
Yes and no. Where I think, yes, obviously a Fallout, brand new, yada, 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 $70 game, Game Pass, you know, would have been awesome and moved 1 million units and blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. I also think that as much as the bottom line would want that, as much as it'd be cool to have a new Fallout and blah, 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 it's the idea that this plan actually worked. Whether they fell into it ass backwards or not, the numbers went fucking insane. And they sold a lot of Fallout 4, a lot of Fallout New Vegas, and a lot, I mean, in an immeasurable amount of people. Well, not immeasurable, you can actually measure it. But so many people have come back to Fallout 76 and are now saying, this game is great. This game is good. I'm having fun. Like, in such an interesting way. They've had for 76, or are having their No Man's Sky moment or their Cyberpunk moment. But I would say for both Cyberpunk and No Man's Sky, people were paying attention on the journey to that moment. Whereas with Fallout 76, it's been nobody plays that. Oh, they put NPCs in, great, it still sucks. And it's just been quiet. You get alongside Elder Scrolls Online and a Bethesda showcase, you get some stuff about it, but you don't really pay attention. You're not really thinking it's cool, yada, yada, yada. Now the fact that these numbers have exploded, and the fact that I've seen them, I just saw through my Twitter feed or Instagram feed the other day, them promoting the new update that's coming in the summer, right? Like, they have this momentum for this game, and I think with people like me and people like you saying on shows and talking about it, like, hey, no, this is actually a lot of fun, and it is cool, and da-da-da, and you get in there, and there are microtransactions, and there are things to go buy if you want to go buy the cool armor, and that. Like, I think flat out, black and white, yeah, it would have been awesome to have a Fallout game for it. Now, flat out, black and white, will be awesome for Season 2 to have a Fallout game. Would be awesome for Season 3 to have a Fallout game. Like, Fallout is also fucking Fallout. Like, I'm not really worried about that moving the needle and needing a TV show bump. I don't know how much the plan was here. I know, obviously, the next gen update got delayed. I think when you look at the circumstances and how they got to where they are, they played it the best they could, and I have to imagine that it's way more successful than they thought it would be. And again, the goodwill for Fallout 76 right now is kind of insane.
Yeah, it definitely is. Now, going back to that Todd, I feel like I'm interviewing you, but going back to that Todd Howard interview, he did hint at there were a couple things.
Right. Yeah. They
had in the oven.
That was a breakout headline everywhere of the 2 Fallout projects he did not name.
What's your speculation on that? I have mine.
I think it's Fallout 5 for sure. Right. And then I would think it's probably Fallout 3 remastered, remake, whatever that actually is going to be. You?
I'm with you on the Fallout 3 remake. I don't think it's Fallout 5. I think it's another New Vegas.
Really? Yeah. From Bethesda or from like Obsidian or somebody else or whatever?
Guess we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I do think Fallout 5 is a little bit a ways away, but I think they probably have something in the interim which could build off of what they did with New Vegas. That's my guess.
Okay. I see. I think Bethesda will do a Fallout 5. I think they'll keep that. My hope is that with Xbox being at the helm now, being like, all right, cool, we need to do a New Vegas 2. We need to do a Fallout : whatever, a Fallout Chicago. You know what I mean? Like, I think Bethesda game studios, for as few and far between they get to make Fallout games, they'll keep the numbers. And I think that I do think that they will open it up to other people can go do whatever they want to do. My hope, though, like, you know, with the rumors of a Fallout 3 remaster remake, I forget what it was. Like, Fallout 3 is such a great game. You know what I mean? And again, there's this argument of maybe your first Fallout's always going to be the best Fallout to you or whatever. But like, I would be so stoked to replay Fallout 3 with modern graphics, quality of life improvements, et cetera, et cetera. Because again, for the pedestal I put that game on, it is the hours and hours of roaming the fucking DC wasteland that I think about, not the story beats. Like, I would be surprised with most of those quests again rather than that. And again, that's what I'm finding so interesting about 76 and warming up to it and finding myself wanting to play over and over more and more is just the idea that, like, it is that I'm still shooting a lot more than I ever shot in Fallout. I have, you know, I'm using an automatic shotgun and I have something like 1,400 rounds. You know what I mean? So it's just, and it's like, this is a different style of Fallout than what a traditional Fallout is, for me at least. But I'm still getting that, what is that over there? And okay, I go up and I, you know, look out off of the watchtowers, right? The fire watchtowers, and it lights up my map for new things. I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. Let's go there. And I find fucking Halloween Town over here, and this guy who wants his pumpkins. And then hours later, I randomly join some kid's group to get the XP. They're like the levels I'm seeing on people. We talk about the world forgetting about. I played with somebody last night who was level, I shit you not, 1,456. Like, these people never stop playing Fallout, and God bless you. But I go to that guy's shop, right, in his game, and he's got, like, the David S. Pumpkins suit, the Halloween suit that, like, me and Bless wore during King. I fucking gave him all my caps. I'm like, yes, please, I'll take that. You know what I mean? And I'm running around that in my pink armor, doing all this stuff. I'm like, this is so much fun. And it is the fact that it's the Bethesda stuff mixed in with survival stuff. But again, even the survival stuff that annoyed me so much at the beginning of the game, right? Of like, oh, well, when you run out of water, when you are hungry, like this will die. Like they got rid of that, similar to what they're doing with Starfield today, right? Where it's like, no, you can be hungry and you can be thirsty. It doesn't matter. It won't actually affect anything, but there's a benefit to not being. I'm like, thank you. Like, I'm not annoyed by it. I actually feel like it's enhancing the experience. Like, Fallout 76 has come so far, and I'm so all in on it right now. I really don't want to switch to Starfield, even though I do. Like, I love Starfield, but I do feel like I'm going to do. You and I are going to talk about the Starfield update tomorrow. We're playing basically 24 hours from here on out, and then talking about it tomorrow. It's like, I'm totally down and dedicated to giving it today and tonight, but it's like, I am going to be sitting there and be like, oh man, I can't wait to get back to running the wasteland and doing all this different stuff.
No, I definitely hear you on that. Now, again, since it's you and I talking, we don't always get to do this a lot. I have to steer this and stay in Xbox land with obviously the studio closures and everything that happened last week and all the chatter. Do you think, again, with a Fallout, the popularity of a Fallout, is this the reprioritization of Bethesda? Like, let's lean into a known IP like we have with Fallout and start getting more of these games out. Do you think that was part of that decision?
You mean getting rid of, so cutting, is for lack of a better term, but in what I think you're saying, cutting the fat off of Bethesda and ZeniMax and just, yes, 1,000%. Yeah. 1,000%, I think it was, of just like, yes, these are great games and these are great developers, but it's not something, for lack of a better term, and Activision did, that we can annualize, that we can make into bigger IP, that we can do this. Like, Hi-Fi Rush stood out so much from Xbox, right? Because it seemed like a traditional game that you would get from an independent studio that was added to Game Pass. And so I think it is one of those, well, why have that studio, that kind of game on the payroll, when on the other side we could just get it on the back half, put it on Game Pass and be fine, right? Like, Little Kitty Big City, right, is this phenomenon right now, 100,000 units in however many hours, and it's like, that is also on Game Pass. Like, that clearly, people feel like that's an Xbox game because you can go get it there and play it that way. And so I think that's the idea, and yeah, I think it is that, like, cool, now that we paid all this money for Bethesda, we're going to double down on the Bethesda IPs people really care about, which obviously, of course, are going to be Starfield, yeah, but I mean, Elder Scrolls. God, I knew there was an S in it. That was throwing me off. Fallout, and then you assume Indiana Jones will be the first of many Indiana Jones that if it takes off and does what it wants and becomes the Xbox Uncharted. But then you look at
Indiana Jones and the cool circle.
Shut
Indiana
up,
Jones and the silly circle.
You shut up, Barrett. Get out of here. Let us enjoy it.
Fucking dumb name.
It's got a whip. It's not a great name, but it'll grow on you. But then, yeah, what does that mean for Doom? Do you ever get another Wolfenstein, or is that something they are sunsetting and putting away? Like, there's a lot of that going on right now.
God, I hope not. I hope not. It has been interesting now that we've had about a good week or so to kind of marinate on the news and trying to understand the business aspects of it. I provide zero excuses. I'm not for this at all. I want to be crystal clear on closing these studios. But like, I truly appreciated you asking Dom the question that you did about Ninja Theory, because we need these games.
Yeah.
And you would hope that even the big publishers like a Microsoft or a PlayStation continue to support the small, because what do you say? 80 people made Hellblade 2. Support these smaller studios that are making these type of games. These aren't going to be the games that are making you hundreds of millions or billions of dollars. They're not Call of Duties. We get that. But I would hate that we get to a point where now Xbox Game Studios, sure, we're going to make the big budget IP games because they make us a ton of money, and we'll import, for lack of a better term, the smaller games to supplement Game Pass instead of doing them in-house with the studios that you have now, with the Double Fine, with the Ninja Theory, etc.